Evening, folks. Nick the Forester here. I'll block that light. Sorry about that. Back out in the shop tonight. Started porting on the Husqvarna 266 SE build using a Highway 268 pop-up 50mm. I'm keeping it 50mm because I want to see how it compares to the stock Husqvarna 266 SE with a base gasket delete. I started porting on it. My daggum carbides are they're worn out. Most of the teeth are broke up. So it's having a heck of a time with that new plate, and I think it's a tit nickel cylinder. So it's having a heck of a time biting through it. So I'm gonna order up some new carbides so I can finish on it. Start porting on the transfers, but that's it. It's fighting me, so I'm gonna wait on it. Wait till I get some new carbides, and we'll go back into it. But in the meantime, I'm actually pulled up one saw here on the bench that I honestly haven't done anything with. Honestly, I got it in and got a bunch of other projects going, and it kind of fell by the wayside like most others. It is this Pioneer P40. All I know about it's got good compression. Don't know if it even has spark. Don't know what kind of shape the fuel lines are. The crank seals. Looks like it's been used pretty darn fair amount. Most of the paint's gone. Does have fuel cap, oil cap, which most of those are gone used most of the time. So this video is more like a what do I do to first see how saws are looking once I get them in, see if they're runners, non-runners. So here we go. First thing I'm gonna do, I said, felt it had pretty good compression, so we're gonna pull off this muffler. It looks like somebody's put studs with nuts. So let's see if we can get this guy off without, might have to get the impact on it. I will. Make it a little bit easier. There we go, that one should work. Put this guy back. Try and keep up with my bits better. Put this guy back over here so I don't lose it. See what kind of shape our cylinder's in. Ooh, man. This one's tight. And she just digging in. She is not wanting to let go. Come on now. There we go. Finally got it to break on loose. Like I said, somebody put looks like studs and bolts. So start off with 7/16 maybe. Looks like it's pretty close to that. Which I don't mind studs. Might have to pull this clutch cover off to get it off though. Basically, we're going to take a look down the cylinder, see if it's scored up, see how the piston looks. Piston looks pretty good shape. Probably we'll leave it alone. But if it looks real rough, then we will pull it off. Throw a different piston in it. I have a bunch of farm saw pistons, which are essentially the same. I got a little red barn piston if worst comes to worst, but I would save that for a junk cylinder, really. Just if I need to slap something together, ported, just play with. I try to keep OEM cylinders. I can get an OEM cylinder for this. I just have to order it and wait for it to come in. OEM piston, sorry, not cylinder. If I need to, but we're just gonna pull this off. Look at our, sorry, I know y'all can't see that. Trying to just pulling the bar stud nuts off. Like these folks actually use washers. That's nice. Ooh, he's dirty. Very, very dirty. Something went through that clutch cover, as you can see, at one time. It's got the small clutch like the P40 had. So, let's see what our muffler situation looks like. Okay. Still has the stock screen in it. She is oily. Grab a rag to wipe my fingers off with. Maybe this thing came with studs. I didn't think they did, but that shows just like it. I don't have to pull the whole thing off. She is crusty in here. This thing was running mighty rich for a long time, which looks like it's got a government carb in it. So we're gonna roll this guy over, put my light on. Pistons got some crud, but pretty clean. Cylinder from this angle looks great. Looks honestly perfect. So we probably won't dive into a full rebuild in this, just get it running. That's all I needed to see. I said this thing's just oily as go get out, but muffler's clean, just oily. It'll bake off. We'll go ahead and put our screen back in. We definitely will not be running it as rich as they were. I don't know how this thing didn't carbon up and score. Set that guy back down in there. We'll throw our muffler back on. Start with this guy. We can get it on. We will not tighten that as hard as they had it, tight as they had it down. But we will tighten it down pretty tight. Hopefully y'all can see without eyes. That light does help, I tell you what. My fiance got me these for Valentine's Day. Got me two. There's a 2-pack of headlamps, and I tell you what, I love these things. About the best thing since sliced bread, if you ask me. But y'all know I got that 42 that came in a box of parts. I know y'all didn't get to see that on the channel before I started YouTube, but that's how that one came about. And oh, that's why it popped all the way in there. Are you not? Pop down in. Oh. And loosen this back up. The bottom part of the muffler didn't slide down in it, and I don't want to mess it up. There we go. Loosen this guy back up and get the bottom part of that muffler slide back in. Now we all situated. I think we're all situated now. That's more like it. Go ahead and tighten her back down again. Sorry, I use a lot of hand tools on this channel. That's what I got, and I ain't got time. Ain't got time or the money right now. I'm saving up for a wedding to get better tools. There we go. Ooh, man, that thing's oily mess. Man, that's how wet and oily it is in there. So next up, we will pull the spark plug. Let's see if she got spark. I don't know if I've done this previously with this saw. I think I have, but go ahead and pull it. Wasn't very tight. Spark plugs, pretty darn black. It's all Champion CJ8. See what we got as far as spark. Not really a great place to put this. Maybe it'll do it right there. Y'all may not be able to see that. Let me see if I can bring you in here. I'll turn this light off for now. See, can y'all see that? Yeah, y'all see that. Right there. Looks like we got good spark. Put that back. Does not appear that this has a screen protecting the oil pump like the later models do, which is interesting. I don't like how that tightens. There we go. That should be plenty tight. We'll leave you like that. Like that. Alright. Next on the chopping block. Guess we should see what this fuel tank looks like. Not really done anything with it. Like I said, this kind of my checklist. Fuel tank is empty. Doesn't really have anything down in it. Fuel line looks awful, so we'll go ahead and replace that. But let's see what the carb air filter look like. Filter's pretty dirty. You don't see it. But she doesn't look ripped, which is a great sign. Pull you off. And we could probably reuse this one. Just have to clean it out. She was leaking a bunch of crud, which these are phenomenal for doing. A bunch of fines. I'll show you. Carb box ripped, or actually had a coal cut out of it. What for? I'm not sure. Fuel line is disintegrated. Carb is a Tilly. Knowing these, it's probably a 147. Probably why it's still got compression, but see all that crud down that intake elbow? So yeah, our fuel line is shot. Imagine our carb's gonna need some attention. I can tell by the, what's it called, it's got gum on the freaking choke. Looks fairly clean down the carb body. But we'll go ahead and pull it off, see what that intake looks like, that intake block. But for now, we're gonna move on. You wanna go ahead and replace this fuel line. Cause, oh gosh almighty. No, whoever had this tightened the fire out of it, I can tell you that much. Come on. Maybe we'll try to get it to tighten some. bit further out here. Got it to tighten. Now I know we can get it loosened. We just got you to tighten. Come on now. That one's loose. Go try to tighten this. Tighten it just a touch. That one's loose. Come up here to the front. Better get it from this angle. Probably gonna take a couple times to really get it to. May have to work on that one a little bit. Get that one loose. Now, work back on this front one. You gotta get it at an angle, unfortunately. They usually do not like to budge. Alright, we're gonna have to go back to the impact. Just work it back and forth. To tear you up. There's no good way to get at it. May have to take my screwdriver and my hammer. It's over there. Bar plate just fell off, but that's okay. I'll go grab my hammer. We'll give it a couple whacks. Good whacks. Try to get it loosened up. There's the other bar plate. Let's see if we can get the impact to get on it now. Come on, man. This thing's gonna play the devil. About got my impact messed up. That thing is not coming out of there. Man, I've never had one that hard. So do I have any other Phillips in here? Any fat guys? Or flathead, sorry. Man, oh man, that sucker's tough. May end up trying to cut into it a little bit to release some pressure. I've never had one that stuck. Give it a couple more good whacks. Oh man. Shoo-wee. I've had some stuck ones before, but never like that. Try it again and see if we can get it to budge forward. Tighten a little bit. There we go. Had to put some real down pressure on it and get it tighten a little bit, then we could loosen it. There we go. There we go. Got one up here. Go. Then we got one back here in the back. Which I don't know if I got him all the way out yet. Somebody has replaced our kill wire before. Man, you're nasty. We're definitely gonna have to take you out. And this has, this is one of the funky ones that actually had one of these. The farm saws aren't the only ones that came with this screw style starter paw, the plastic one. I'd heard some of these p40s did, some of the early ones, which I get. I'm imagining this one is. I mean, it looks the part. But it's got, or sorry, not early, the later ones. Later p40s before the 42, 41 and 42, they went to this style. And then they switched back to the metal paw style on the 41s and 42s, but kept this on the lower end farm saws. And she is dirty. But fuel line is up here. You see it is just absolutely crumbled to bits. Because you only need 3 things to get a saw to run. Technically 4, but truly 3. Fuel, air, and spark. We already saw we have spark. Actually not. There's technically 5. Fuel, air, spark, compression. And the 5th would be making sure it doesn't have any air leaks. You can get it to run on the first 4. It may not run correct, but it will run. The 5th one is where you need it to run correctly. Oh man, I'm definitely gonna have to do some cleaning here. This thing is dirty. I may pause y'all for a second and then we will clean this out and we'll change the fuel line real quick. So let me pause y'all real quick. Alright guys, we're back. Did a little bit of cleaning off on it, not a whole lot, just a little bit. Now we are on to pulling this fuel nipple off. These have a fuel nipple right here, which it's going to end up being a 1/2 inch, which I'm not sure if I have this sitting up here, if it's in the truck. Let me look through my junk over here off screen real quick. Eighths, 15, 7/16, 5/16. Yeah, I think I either took it to the truck or took it somewhere else. No telling, I move around so much stuff up here all the time. Anyhow, yeah, it's gonna end up being a 1/2 inch. Trying to see if I have it sitting around here real quick before I dive on off, but I think I got 12 here. That'll work for now. So like I said, we verified we have fuel. That's gonna be a 13. Luckily I do have up here still. Oh no, she's gonna be exactly a 1/2. She ain't gonna work with me. I don't think as a 13. Might have to actually go get it. Yeah, she's gonna try to round on me because she's been in there so long. These metal ones, a little more tricky than the. Yeah, that ain't gonna work. Either gonna have to go get a 1/2 inch or. Sometimes you do good, sometimes not so much. Now see if I have 1/2 inch or something that may work for us up here. Might be able to use that. Let's see. If not, I will pause this and go back to the truck and get it. Just didn't want to. My extension, I do. So we can get this out of here. Oh. And she is mighty tight. I think we just slipped off of there. I'll tell you what. Thing sure wasn't built on a Friday for whoever did the maintenance on it. It wasn't done on Friday, I can tell you that much. She sure is tight, whoever was using it. I think we were free there. Yep. Pull this little nipple out, which is going to try to fight you, especially if your line is petrified like this one is. Let's see if I can just break it off. Yeah. Got my shears here. There we go. Now try not to lose that nipple and that washer. That one fell to the ground, but I got it right here. So just a little nipple and a washer. And what you can do is you can either try to pull this through, back it up back on in here, try to pull it out the top. You may be able to and you may not. I'm just going to try to fall down in here with you. If you work it right, you can usually get it to come out the top, even if it is petrified. Grab my pliers real quick. Want y'all to be able to see the best you can. There we go. And there's the dirty filter. Doesn't really smell like bad gas. I think it had a little bit left in it and it finally just petrified up. So take our little, what's it called? Or try to get this guy off of it. See if we can. Probably ain't gonna want to, not easily at least. I've had some I've had to take a razor blade to get them off. Just because they were so bad. Yeah, I think this one's gonna be one like that. Oh, gotta remove some. Grab her again. Nope. Get it to peel down. Trying to do this without going the long way. There we go. Almost got it cut. But just trying to get the rest of my fleet running so we can do some more cutting comparisons. There we go. Now she is free. Looks like we're open all the way through it. One thing you also have to check, I would blow through it, make sure she's open. Now we need to find a fuel line that'll work. I have a couple strands here, some big stuff, some little stuff, a little bit of everything. Let's see, I think you're going to be much too big. Actually not a bad fit. You're gonna be too small. Can I find the one that's just right? I think that'll do it right there. It'll go through the hole. She may be a little big for our this one digger. So what I do for this, just get your old line. If you got it, if you get it out in somewhat one piece, get your new line. So we'll need it somewhere in there. So I'll give it just a touch more. If it lays on the bottom, ain't gonna hurt anything. We will give it right about there. Go ahead and flatten off this other side. And then let me grab my fuel filters. Got a bunch of these buggers. Go. I buy them by like the 20. These are these aren't labeled, but they're a Walbra double filter, essentially copy. Which fits good down in there. Good. Okay, that'll work perfect. So what I'm gonna do is thread this guy through here if I can. May not. This one may be the one that's too big. There is one that's too big for this, these openings. I have a feeling I may not be able to get this guy started. I'll put that over there. We'll just have to see. But if you can get it started, get it pinned down. Come on now. It can be a little bit of a booger. Gotta get it where it's not running into that wall. Helps if you throw a little bit of looby-dooby on it, which we will. For this, I just use like PB Blaster. Works fairly well. Come on now. Once you get through enough, I'll keep feeding it for a second. See, got my needle nose over here. Hope y'all can see this. Just got my finger down here in the hole holding it. Pull it on around. Grab my needle nose. Gotta feed this guy through some more. I said if you use a smaller line, you won't have this issue. Just grab the bigger one to start with. There we go. Now we got her feeding in pretty good. Once you get started, it's usually no issue. Come on. Here we go. Now we're going to feed this guy on down. Like I said, you can usually, once you get it through some, you can pick it up on that side and help guide it through. There we go. Put you on there. You should fit through fine. I know we got it most of the way through. Come on. It may not. It may just be too big. Which I have other line here. Save that piece of line. Let me find the other. Got Actually, a fair amount of different lines here. Just got them scattered about, unfortunately. Have 2 or 3 different fuel lines / oil lines. That is vacuum line. Not gonna grind you down. If I was really desperate, I could just like how small you are. I don't think I have any more in the truck. I thought I had more. I mean, that would fit, just pretty small. And that's about the inner diameter of that. I just don't want to starve it for fuel. It's the bigger issue. I'd rather go a little big than a little small. Let's see what I got down in here. You could work. You're going to be on the small side. You're the right diameter. I know because I've used you in others. Yeah, you're the right diameter. Just don't think it's going to be long enough. Nope. Scratch that. What about you? You long enough? You betcha. We'll just end up using this. I said it's a little on the small side. I'll have to order up some more. Bigger stuff. Stretch our end out. Which we ain't got to do that to start with. I just do it to help further on in the process. We'll feed it back through here. This one we will try to feed up and get it to actually come up. Let's see. There we go. We will open this side up some. There we go. Should be able to get this line through it. There we go. Slide her all the way up to the top. Finish putting it on back in there. Try to get started. Helps if you spin the fuel line with it. Take a wrench, put it back on there. Come on. I know you ain't crossed there, dude. It's just, it can be a little difficult. It's a lot easier with a open-end wrench. Like I said, this really don't have to be that tight. Didn't even have to be that tight, to be honest with you. But she's in. She should seal. Go on this side. Hopefully y'all see this. I'm just going in on this side. There you go. Open up this side just a touch. That way we can put our filter on. And she is done. There we go. She should be all the way down in the bottom. Verify that with my light. Looks like we're all the way down in the bottom. So that's good. We can turn that off, put our cap back on. That side is done. Now, rolling over to the other side. We got to get it from this nipple up to this nipple. So, go back to our box. And actually, that piece we just had that we threw back in that box should be about the same length. Should be close. And it will be about perfect. That piece, the bigger piece, will be about perfect for this size, this side. But I'm not going to go there first. We're going to go into our carb. I'll pull this guy down. So, kind of recap. We're not done yet, but just to start to a recap. Always look inside your cylinder first. If your piston looks real scored up, rings are stuck. I mean, I could tell the rings weren't stuck. I could have showed y'all better, but always look inside your cylinder first. If you see scoring on the wall or the piston, I would definitely start there first. Sometimes you can look down the intake. Most of the times you can look through the exhaust, and it'll give you a pretty good idea on what its condition was. Then I'll move on to spark. See if we have spark. If you don't have spark, troubleshoot it. This saw, which I didn't show y'all, is actually a point saw. Coil here, condenser here, points are underneath here. So I would start with pulling the flywheel off, checking the points if they're corroded. Take a little piece of sandpaper, open your points up, put your sandpaper in. While the points are closed, you will manually open them up, stick your sandpaper in, file them just a little bit, blow it out, and then check them there. If not, then you could go try changing out the condenser. Most condensers are about the same. You could use a spare one you have laying around, or you could order the correct one. I recommend ordering the correct one if you can get it. But like I said, most of them are about the same, so you can at least test to see if it's the condenser. If it's not a condenser, then you'll move on to your coil. And there's a couple different ways you can test your coil. I won't go over those right now, but there's a couple different ways. And then, so like I said, make sure you have spark. Move on to your fuel line. This fuel line was hard as a rock and crumbling on the outside, so we swapped it out. That's where I'd go to next. At any point in time, you could check to see if it has compression. Like I said, this one's got pretty decent compression. I think it'll be fine. Especially once we get it hot and get those rings moving. They're not stuck, but they'll reseal some. And then I would go to your carburetor. I mean, if you want to, go ahead and do your crank seals, more power to you. I typically like to stick with the stock seals while I can. Granted, they may be old, but most of the time they're made with better rubber than we have today. They hold up better. Now, as far as this carb, I'm just cleaning some crap off of it real quick. I had sprayed it down, but still got a fair amount of junk on it. Actually, I'll spray it off camera real quick to get some more off of it. Looks like we're working with a Tilson 147D, like what's found on the later farm saws. Our intake block is not cracked. Looks like we're running a steel reed in here. These are good carbs. The reason I'm not a huge fan of them, this thing's got a bunch of dirt and grease. Granted, they are governed carbs, but yeah, I can open that up. Y'all see that Venturi, how small that is? Let me find, that one's a, no, it's that XL12 carb. Let me just find a typical Walboro. There's your typical Walboro. Do you see the Venturi size as well as the carb bore size? I mean, you got that versus, and Walboros are what come on the 42s, 50s, 51s. I mean, hey, there you go. Y'all see that? See how much smaller that is? So typically I'll swap these out for a Walboro or a 272 clone. I think I'm saving this guy. Maybe not. Arms on backwards for that one. Let's see, do I have a 272 clone here at the moment? Don't believe so. I think I'm out of the 272 clones. I think I put them on other saws. Check one more spot. Nope, I believe I'm out of those at the moment. That's okay. This, like I said, this stock carb's fine for what we're doing. It won't really cause any issue. It's just a little on the small side. Sorry, I was looking at another card for a second. Yep. So, but those are non-governed carbs, where this one is governed. See it right there? Or, can y'all see that governor? It's got a little brass piece that fits in there. That's the governor. Trying to see this guy. We could pull it apart. Yeah, she seems pretty sticky. So I'll pull this part real quick, and then we will we're gonna rebuild it real quick, and then we'll stick it back on. Let me pause y'all real quick. All right, I'll rebuild the carb real quick. Reason I did that is because I could. What I did was take my little pick, went down in here, felt on the diaphragm, and it was hard as a rock. I mean, you can't hear it now, but it was pretty crackly. So I went ahead and pulled it apart. It was actually very clean inside. Did not pull out the idle, or not idle, the governor. Sorry, getting tired now. Did not pull out the governor yet. Typically leave those alone till later. Another reason to go into your carb is see where the carb was set at. So we'll go to our low jet. It's pointing straight up and down. So we have half, 1, or not quite 1. So that'd be what, 3/4? Yeah, if she's closing out right there. So yeah, idle was about, or low jet was about 3/4 out. Now let's look at our high jet. It's right there. Huh. Somebody had this pretty. That's not even a full turn. That's half a quarter turn out. So they were relying primarily on the governor to overfuel it. So we will. That's a good sign. That typically means if they're that choked down, that they weren't having a air leak problem. At least not that they could tell. Because you typically, if you have an air leak problem, they're going to be backed out 1.5, 2 turns, 2.5 turns on possibly the low or the high to compensate for the air leak. So these being just barely cracked, I mean, that thing was right there. So we will take it back to seated, go half and 1, and we can work from there. I mean, well, I'll probably still pull it in from, well, I'll rely on the governor. Yes, some, but I want it to 4-stroke some. I don't want to burn up the cylinder, and let the governor work like it's supposed to. I mean, yeah, you can close it all the way out and essentially not starve it, but oh heck, what are the words I'm looking for here? You're not starving it. You're just using it. I can't think of my words now. You're not starving it. You are just essentially relying on the governor to keep it from 4-stroking, or from being too rich or going lean. Sorry, going lean. That's what I'm looking for. So yeah, we'll start out at 1 turn on the high jet. We're at 3/4 of a turn on the low jet, and we may run it in on the high jet some, but I think we'll let it run a little on the rich side. I mean, it won't overfuel due to the governor, or it will overfuel due to the governor, unless they have blocked it off before, which they might have. So now we'll start putting it back together. I'm gonna pull these out of this elbow real quick, and I'm gonna take the elbow and the filter and go wash them out real quick. So I'll pause y'all real quick. Sorry. Hey guys, we're back. So it seems like I'm filterless, or out of carb clean for the moment. Brake clean, and that's all I use. So we won't be able to clean the filter right now, but that's okay. There we go. Let's take this guy back off in here. Come on. This one's always the devil. There we go. Now we can take our bolts, stick them back in here. Stick them through our card. Get him all lined up. Stick this guy down on there. Sure we got it the right way. That way. Cut it down both of them. There we go. I have to push the choke back in. I'll get her started. Looks like this saw is a rim drive, or not a rim drive, but a actual spur drive, which means the sprocket is one piece with the clutch drum. Let's tighten this guy down real quick. Make sure not to crack it. You want to get it tight but not overly tight. There we go. Make sure she's clean. Make sure this guy's clean. She's pretty dirty. Issue is I don't have another to replace it with at the moment. These filters are getting hard to find. Plus, as you can see, they're not the best filter design. They will let small finds through. Clean out as much as we can. There we go. I'm now going to put that little gasket on for now, just until I get some more carb cleaner, which I'll pick some up more up tomorrow. Just go without it for now. Won't hurt anything. It just helps to keep the fines and whatnot out. As small as this stuff is, it seems like it might run with a dull bar at some point. So there we go. Got that guy all wrapped up. Well, say that. Forgot the fuel line. Just pull that back off real quick. Don't want to make this hour-long video, but it might end up being. There we go. Yeah, a little crud fell down in there. But so, grab our fuel line real quick. Pop it on this side. Send her all the way down. Pull it on around to this side. Usually just do it like so. And pop her on this side. And then when you put your liable cover back on, which we need to oh shoot. There we go. I always forget these guys aren't attached, so you gotta be careful. We'll put our kill switch back on. And this thing, I'm gonna clean this while I was off camera as well. It's pretty cruddy, but that'll be fine for now. Make sure that guy's on there. Make sure you're up here. I'll say that. Gotta go behind like so. Send her on down like that. Get her to go back off in place like so. Like, just like so. Sure we can. There we go. Then you grab your bolts. We're gonna put this guy somewhere we can actually get to it. We'll put it down here. Come on. Make sure your fuel line doesn't get pinched. It goes in that little pocket up here in the top. Put you. Which one's better, you two? This one. Put you up in that hole. Put this one over in here. And then your long one goes down in here. So essentially that's what, when I'm pulling one of these saws that I've never dealt with before, I ain't touched with, that's what I'm going with first is check the cylinder, check your piston, check them for scoring. You seen there, I checked, it has compression. Check for your spark. I kind of talked how to go about going through spark with these point style. If you have a different style ignition, like just a coil or electronic ignition, you'll have to troubleshoot it. Typically it's just going to be your coil unless there's also a trigger, which like I said, you'll just have to troubleshoot it one at a time. I've never run into a flywheel that's lost its magnetism, so I don't have a real good way to help you there. Then make sure your fuel line's clean. If it's hard, if it's filters clogged up like that one looked like, then I would go ahead and change it. You can rebuild your carb, or you can try to run it as is. The reason I rebuilt that one was, like I said, the diaphragm was very hard on it. Stick that guy back up in there. Go ahead and put you down for now. So yeah, check for scoring, check compression, check for spark, fuel. I mean, obviously, as long as your intake track's good, should be fine, and then you'll have to work through your air leaks as you come across them. Also, not a bad thing is see where the carb was when you first got it. If it was way out of adjustment, like 2-3 turns out, then you might have an air leak. It's a pretty good indicator. If it's within reason, within 3/4 to a turn and a half, then you're probably fine. What else? And then, yeah, I mean, make sure we still have spark. Let me grab my test spark plug over here. Throw it down in there. Oh, it's going to be a little bit tougher to pull it over now. I really don't like this ignition. Or not ignition, but this starter system. Oh, man. Sure has some compression there. Come on. Stay for me somewhere. Make sure you have spark. Yep, it does. So she still got spark, so that's good. Set it right up in there. There we go. Now we'll throw our cover on. We may actually run this all tomorrow, or at least try to start it. I'll try to put that on video for y'all. There we go. Nice little tighten. Because what I'd like to do is test it versus the 42. P40 and our ported farm saw. Still working on that one. Think it might have a little bit of an air leak on the flywheel side, so I'll pull it off, throw another one in it, throw another seal in it on the farm saw. Our P40 runs flawless. I mean, absolutely flawless. I put crank seals in it. What else I do? Rebuilt the carb once, fuel line, and put that new actually I saved that cylinder. I forgot that cylinder was scored up real bad. There we go. supposed to go on there. It should be that easy. That chain brake one's a little bit bigger of a pain in the butt, but still not awful. There's our other washer. Throw these guys on here so we don't lose them. We'll bar this one up and we'll run it against the 42 and throw a different crank seal in that farm saw. Then we'll run it against it as well. That farm saw, when I get it, it's already showing to be pretty strong. I think it's going to be a whole lot stronger later on. But I hope y'all enjoyed today's video. Like I said, for those that pickup saws that haven't been running for a long time, maybe part saws or whatever you're trying to get running again, it's things I typically look at first. Is 1, cylinder scoring, piston scoring, stuck rings. Just pull your exhaust, take a look at it. 2, roll it over while the spark plug's out, or pull the spark plug, roll it over, see if you have spark. Or you don't have to pull a spark plug, but I do, make it easier. If you don't, troubleshoot it from there. If it's points, start at sending the points, then go to condenser. Then your coil, and last resort is flywheel. I've never run into a sheared key, but I know it is possible. Or a flywheel that's lost its magnetism. Then you can check for compression. If it's got if it's got 100 and 115 pounds, it'll run. Not great, but you'll be able to tell pulling it over. What else? Then go to your fuel line. Make sure it's clean, clear, flexible. Typically, I just go ahead and change them out because you don't want any kind of that old gas in there. Then because you don't want to run at full speed with any kind of blockage, because you will run lean. I've had some saws where the filter got clogged up so bad that just because I had some varnish in the tank, it got clogged up so bad it started running lean. It would run lean at full throttle, then part throttle, and then at idle it just started leaning out. No matter how far out of the jet you turned it, it was just started running for fuel. And then go through your carb, see where the carb adjustments are. If you need to, like I said, you can kind of check that diaphragm for those that have a hole for the, I guess, a pressure relief. You can kind of see how your diaphragm's doing or your pump's doing. If it's hard, I would go ahead and replace it. If it's not, you can sometimes bring them to life with some new fuel. I've done that before. And then once you get it going, get it started up, then tune it. You can see if it needs crank seals or not. This one, it may need them. That might be why it got put away. I'm not sure. At least not on the, according to the carb adjustments, it wasn't running at least long if it did have a crank seal leak, because they would have had to adjust for it. But hope y'all enjoyed today's video. If you don't mind, like, subscribe, give us a thumbs up, and I hope to see y'all in the next one. I hope y'all have a great weekend ahead. So I'll see y'all later. Thanks, y'all. Bye.